Welcome to Fortuna's Events podcast series, where we engage in dynamic conversations with the pioneers, experts, and change makers driving progress across industries. In each episode, we explore how cutting-edge innovations, strategic approaches, and emerging trends are reshaping the future of businesses. Our goal is to offer fresh insights into the evolving challenges and opportunities that professionals face today. I'm your host, Shweta, Senior Content Executive at Fortuna's Events. Welcome to today's podcast, everyone. Today we have a special guest, Dua Abdelqader. She's a regional head of transport advisory at AtkinsRéalis. Dua has played a pivotal role in shaping the future of transport, particularly in developing guidelines for autonomous vehicles. We are excited to dive into her insights on the future of mobility and how she balances a demanding career with her personal life. All right, Dua, you have been at the forefront of some truly transformative projects, including developing guidelines. Can you share how working on such forward-thinking projects has shaped your professional growth? What would you say some of the key takeaways are from your learning experiences?
Thank you first for having me. You've particularly touched on one project, and I consider that really transformative, but many projects that I worked on in my career, especially projects that focus on smart mobility implementation, consider as transformative experiences. Really having to dive into the understanding of cutting edge technology and how it can be implemented and what supporting infrastructure this requires. So basically making this how we take this technology into a reality. It's always been really challenging, yet really immensely rewarding experiences. Working on such projects expanded significantly my technical knowledge. I really aim to be at the forefront of technological advancement, and I think everyone in the transportation sector will have to really push themselves into that, because this is the future and we need to kind of future proof our systems and our careers as well to be able to respond and adapt to these new technologies that are emerging. It really sharpened my ability to also envision long-term impacts of the technology and how to be agile and embrace continuous learning, because you continue to learn. You cannot
you just don't stop learning.
No, it's no one is an expert. There's always something new. So it really kind of gives you that agility and need to really embrace that there's always continuous learning. Keeping up is a challenge, but we do what we can, and it really helped me to position to continue to lead in this transformative projects in the transport sector.
Would you have chosen a different career path, given what you know right now, and if there's a chance given to you, okay, let's do a different one, would you choose a different one, or you would have sticked with this?
So I tell myself, being an engineer is not easy.
Yes,
it is difficult, and it really requires a lot of technical, mental effort to kind of keep up with this. And there's so much in our field in the transportation. So throughout my career, I was fortunate, I would say, to have the opportunities to work on so many different scales of different projects, and from strategies, planning, very high level stuff, to looking at designs of intersections and things like that. So it varies immensely. So that also makes it not necessarily kind of a straightforward and easy industry to navigate. There's so much opportunity and so much to learn always. To be honest, because I think the path that I have taken and the opportunities that I was given has been and the people that I actually met and learned from along the way, I wouldn't change that. I would really go with the same challenges and have the same, small victory moments along the way. But I would explore other things, because I have so much appreciation for other careers and, other things that people do. Maybe a little bit in the environment space. I would have loved to. I had so much interest in that really in my, when I was still in college. But I think that's part of civil engineering as well. But I mean, it could have been also, a path for me to go into the environmental areas.
Yeah, I
Mm.
understand. Fair point. I would not want to change anything either. Okay, the challenges that you mentioned earlier, I believe they do come with high pressure. So how do you juggle leading such major initiatives while balancing the demands of family life?
It is not a small feat, to be honest. It's
Yeah.
we try to balance. I
Mm,
uh, not succeeding all the time, but
mm,
I think it's really requires a structured approach
mm.
of looking at how you prioritize the managing time. It's easier said than done, but
Yeah.
it's important to set boundaries
Mm.
and really fully engage and be focused. If you're doing work, you need to be engaged and focused on your work. If you're with the family, you need to kind of,
Just
be
be
present.
present. Yes. Yeah.
Exactly. So I couldn't have done it without family support. It was always key for me to be able to do what I do and succeed in what I'm doing. Sometimes there's the guilt over missing, important family moments and things like that. But I had to continuously remind myself
Mm.
of a bigger picture
Picture.
and why am I doing this? My professional goals and commitments, and
Mm.
So you try to balance with these things and support, and you need to reach out and get support from your family. I think that's
That's
key
the
for
key
me.
of it. I
Yeah.
see. What would you say the biggest challenge was? Except setting boundaries. I do get setting boundaries are hard, but apart than that, when it comes to work and when you're setting boundaries, were there a time where people just go over your boundary?
Mm.
Did you have to deal with challenges like that?
Yeah, all the time.
So, okay.
All the time. All the time. To be honest, especially in the region, it's very demanding. There is
Mm,
so much advancement,
mm.
so much momentum. It's really exciting to see, but that comes with consequences on, have to be realistic about what we can do in
What
certain
we cannot.
time
Yeah.
frames, and how we balance the quality of the work with
Mm.
the outcomes, and having certain resources on projects. So I think sometimes it is challenge becomes not necessarily easy to deal with. So you might need to do some compromises sometimes, and
Understand.
be able to, okay, I cannot be accept the imperfections,
Mm.
basically. And okay, so this is what, be realistic on both ends. This is what I can give for my professional
Yeah.
life at this moment. This
Mm.
is the best I can do.
Mm.
So that requires maybe additional support, additional resources on project, additional having like very transparent conversation, difficult but transparent conversations
Conversation.
with
Yeah.
certain clients about timelines and things like that. So sometimes you have to go through that, but
Mm.
at the same time you need to have really supporting family to be able to actually say, okay, you need to cut me slack this day, because I really have to deal with something. So you need to get support from others. So I think it's not me just against the world. I
Mm.
think it's multiple people working together to make things work,
Well, yes.
and understanding everybody's challenges.
Mm.
Sometimes it becomes, I have to be realistic.
Mm.
Sometimes it's too much that I really don't know what to do
What to
at
do?
this moment. But to be honest, there's always a solution. Life is not gonna collapse.
Correct.
It's just you need to find the middle ground,
Mm.
basically,
Mm.
that everybody accepts, and it
Mm.
would be the best solution forward. So
Everything, yeah. My favorite say is that whenever you're going through a hard time, you just have to remember that you are just a speck of dust compared to the entire universe.
exactly.
Yeah.
No, yeah, no, 100%. No,
Mm.
I tell that every day. I feel like, okay, so life, if something, does not
Go your
happen
way.
the
Yeah.
way that you want it to happen,
Mm.
this is just like, a bump in the road. It's not like
The
life
end
is
of the
gonna,
world. Yeah.
yeah, exactly,
Mm.
exactly.
Okay. So if I were to say, based on whatever that you are saying, if we were to summarize like your advice to younger women who's about to start their career, it would be to be realistic, to set
Mhm.
boundaries, to be transparent, honest, and also to have family support. Am I
Mm.
missing on anything?
I
That's
think really, really, you have to keep a resilient mindset, and you have to accept that this as you grow in your career. I'm sitting with you now after like 12 years of professional career. I'm not the same person as, on the first day. You become resilient over time. You will the challenges that you see as unsolvable challenges, they will become small challenges over time, because you
mm,
learn from what you do. This is a learning experience. We are in learning kind of
yeah.
path in our
It's a
life on both, continuously. So I try to keep a resilient mindset. Take one thing at a time and try to prioritize, reach out to people and delegate if you have some, as part of work is if you have someone that can support you, delegate. That's a very important skill set that I didn't have, and I started kind of learning along the way. I was just like, I need to do this myself. No, you need to actually
sit down and
see how you can actually get other people to help you. And you need to switch off sometimes, even in the middle of the chaos. You just need to switch off for a moment, go for a short walk, get a treat, I don't know, sit in silence and just breathe. You really find these small moments very, very helpful. With all honesty, this has helped me a lot. Like you would be in the midst of all of the pressure and people need something from you just like now, but because you are so overwhelmed by everything, you are not functioning. So in that exact moment, maybe you need to switch off. You need to take a step back, go outside, just do something different, clear your mind for a second and come back to it and just take one thing at a time. It's easier said than done, but I think really these small moments of joy and relaxation can really clear someone's mind.
I do agree with you. It's keeping everything balanced, not taking too much of work, but also making sure that work is still done.
Get advice. Maybe have a mentor. It could be a spouse. It could be a friend. I take very good advice from my children. Like I really ask my daughter some fundamental questions, and I get really interesting answers.
With their
Because she really simplifies things in a way that is like, actually maybe it's simpler than I think it is. Seriously, and it's I would really advise people to actually
listen
take
to
advice
kids.
from children.
Yeah, I do agree.
They give the really good advice. Yeah.
Because their truth is just they don't see beyond things. They don't overcomplicate things. What they see is what they're telling you.
Yeah. So I think you need to think that you're not alone in this, and you can get really support and from people around you. So be really
knowing when to ask for help, right? Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, now let's shift the focus a bit. Your expertise in shaping the future mobility, especially with the current era right now where technology is just rapid. How do you think technology can help individuals strike a balance in their lives the same way it helps us to shape and optimize transportation systems?
It can really be a great enabler, I think. You can already see that technology is improving our lives. It's given us flexibility, the flexibility of remote working and how we collaborate efficiently without having to physically be in the same room. It's really also reduced the need to do excessive traveling, because when you have multiple projects, different clients, different jurisdictions, if you really need to travel to every meeting, that becomes very challenging for balancing life and work. Even the small tools that we use to kind of manage our tasks and streamline our daily responsibilities, they really makes it easier to manage between the professional and personal. Similarly, smart mobility like solutions, intelligent transport systems, they make our journeys more efficient. They reduce time spent commuting, traffic, and that really gives us our time back and really promotes a more kind of balanced, healthier life.
What would you say some of the technologies that you've used that has made it easier for you to balance between work and personal?
The collaboration platforms, to be honest, that's after COVID, I think that created a major shift for us. No, it's not. I'm not talking about smart mobility, but even in the way that we're working, this is one of the major shifts in the career. Because to be honest, now thinking back, if I didn't have that flexibility at the time, now I have 3 children. From 2020 I had 1 child. Now I have 3 children. That's a major upgrade for me. And when I think about how I could have balanced my life with my work, I don't know how I could have managed that, to be honest, without compromising. Now I can give more time to my family. I can still flexibly be close to them while still doing my work, but at least I'm there. If they need me, I'm there. So that flexibility was major transformation, I think, and from a technology perspective. In the transport sector itself, all of the emerging mobility solutions, autonomous vehicles, like the intelligent transport systems that make the transport operations more efficient, all these things really promise better mobility for everyone. So I think these will also
Be helpful.
continuously contribute to how life becomes a little bit more easier and accessible actually to people, because there are issues in accessibility, affordability of using mobility as well. So these will help also in expanding who can use mobility and how they move around, how they travel as well. So the challenges to mobility are not only related to just being stuck in traffic, but also people actually having the accessibility and to different mobility options, basically. So all of these emerging new options, the mobility offerings, that will help diversify also the choice for people who to how they use these mobility options, and how to eventually also flex back on benefits on their lives and time spent doing all of this.
Yeah. You get to just save time and everything. Have you had days where you regretted having a child? Like you would choose career instead of...
No, I don't think ever anyone will answer yes to that.
Okay.
Because to be honest, I've got this actually very good pointer from someone recently who I'm working with, and they said the challenging part of a child's when balancing life and work, the most challenging is the early years of the child's life, because then they go to school, they become more independent, life becomes a little bit more it's only the maybe the couple years early,
the first few years,
and this is actually short in someone's professional life. So you're not necessarily going to miss out on a lot if you maybe take a little bit of a step back and do a more balanced focus, and maybe even give more focus to your family at certain points of time, because that's where you're needed more. That's the most important part. And then you'll come back and you'll be able to pick up from where you left off, if you left, or continue to kind of bigger momentum if that's the case.
You don't lose
Absolutely
much on the...
not really. I feel like no, not really, but you actually gain more by having that, and you become more resilient. You're like, I can really do this. And to be honest, women in general, you will be surprised how much women can actually achieve. We have so much in us as women to really push forward and be at the forefront in anything that we do, to be honest. So
All right.
thank you so much. Thank you for having me, and look forward to the conference, of course.
If you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to subscribe to our podcast and stay tuned for more exciting episodes featuring industry leaders from around the globe. Until next time, stay curious and keep innovating.